Hello guys, my name is Tibo and this is a presentation that is actually 90 minutes long, but I've condensed it into just a few slides. Just talk about the interesting parts. When I have time to do the rest, I will, but it will take a while. Now we know regarding the 7-year tribulation that, well, there's 7 years included, and a lot of people, they take the 70-week prophecy of the book of Daniel to justify it. I am going to stick to the book of Revelation, so we are just stepping slightly ahead, just briefly, but I divided it into two sets of 3.5-year periods. Now the first 3.5-year period would involve the two witnesses who will prophesy for 3.5 years. Now, how will the two witnesses be killed? Well, we know that it is a beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit, who will war with the prophets and overcome them. Now, where have you heard this before? We hear this. The angel that has a key to the bottomless pit is the fifth angel that sounds the trumpet. So of course there are 4 that precedes it. And how do I know that? Now we'll get to the locust in a sec. Now at that point, when the two witnesses are killed, everyone, the whole world, will be talking about Jerusalem because they will be in Jerusalem. And those that dwell on earth will celebrate the death of the two witnesses, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on earth. Now there's a concept I won't talk about in detail in this video, but the concept of two realities is very important to unlock the book of Revelation. You could say 2 realities, 3 perspectives. Now in heaven, there are going to be sound of the trumpets. We won't hear the sounds of the trumpets because it's happening in heaven. But what we will see is how it manifests on earth. Now, how will it manifest on earth? Oh, it's through those 2 witnesses. They will be blamed for the plagues of the 4 trumpets and the 5th trumpets, which includes the locusts, which will torment those that do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. And that will last for 5 months. So it makes sense. It makes sense, when the 2 witnesses are dead, the tormenting from the locusts will be finished, and the entire world will celebrate. Now this is, if you read regarding having a seal of God on your forehead, read Ezekiel 9. I'm not going to talk about this in this video. Okay, so the 2 witnesses are killed, the whole world will celebrate, and after 3.5 days, the Spirit of God basically revives them in front of their enemies. The whole world will see that through CNN, BBC, you name it. And then they are raptured into heaven. Now a lot of things is going to happen during the midway point. So there'll be an earthquake, which will happen in Jerusalem. So within the hour of the 2 witnesses resurrecting and ascending to heaven, there will be a great earthquake, killing 7,000 people. Then the angel announces that it is part of the second woe. That's why we know it's the 6th trumpet. The last 3 trumpets are known as woe, woe, woe. But what else happens? What else happens during the 6th trumpet? 4 angels are loosed, angels that were bound in a great river, Euphrates. Now here is where things get interesting. So one angel will be prepared for 1 hour, another one for a day, another one for a month, and one for a whole year. Do you know where I'm going with this? The number of the army of the horsemen, the number is irrelevant because we won't see them. But basically what I'm concluding is that those 4 angels are also those 4 horsemen that we read about during the seals, the first 4 seals actually. Now, okay, the horses don't look exactly how the Bible describes them. They will have head of that looks like a lion, but I'm not going to change that. We know what this means. 4 horsemen. They will happen around the same time. There's not going to be an interim in between each seal, because as I show you later, it's a scroll. It's a book, and each of those 7 seals will be opened simultaneously, successively, but without much of an interim in between each seal. The reason why we feel that is because John describes what each individual seals represents. But when Jesus opens the book with 7 seals, it's kind of straight away. You know, it's happening in one go. Maybe a second apart from each other. You know. Okay, so longest angel or horseman will last a year. So I've got it there. Now here's a key thing. There was an earthquake, probably the same earthquake that destroyed Jerusalem, or part of Jerusalem. The sun became black and the moon became as blood. Okay, remember this sign. That is a sign in the heavens. Okay, the firmament. And the heavens departed as a scroll, and the people that are on earth say, hide from us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. This is exactly what the world will see. There will be no true atheists in the world after that point. Now on chapter 12, John describes a war between the Archangel Michael and his angels, and the dragon, which is Satan, and against his angels, and he was cast onto earth with his angels, who were cast out after him. So that's why stars fall from heaven. When this happens, we'll know that the angels are falling as well. Now, I'm not saying we will see a dragon when this happens. We might. I don't know. We won't see a third of the angels falling either, because we can't really see. Well, God will only allow us to see what is permitted. I don't think we will see dragons and fallen angels, but this will be represented when there are meteorites or asteroids. I don't know the difference. I don't care. But stars that will fall from the heavens, we will know. The dragon was wroth and went to make war with the remnants of her seed. That is the saints, that is us, that's the Christians that will still be on earth at the time. The woman is the establishment of the church, or the religion, if you will. The reason why I believe this, I'll speak about it in more detail in the longer version of this video. But compare the woman in chapter 12 with the woman of Revelation 17. They both represent the religion and the false religion. And we know that the dragon will do this for a time, a times, and half a time, which means 3.5 years. And an angel says, "Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, for the devil is come down to you, having a great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time, which I know to be 3.5 years." Now, a lot of things are going to happen at that point. I believe that is when the seventh head will be wounded and will live or be resurrected. Now, the seventh head is the Antichrist, okay? And it shall be given unto him. That is the celestial perspective, but on earth. So not in heaven. The realm in our from our world, but we still can't see them. We won't see a beast with 7 heads, but what we will see is how it manifests on earth. And it will reign for 3.5 years, just like the dragon. It's the same time, and it will have authority to make war with the saints and to overcome them. 3.5 years. And of course, there will be the 2 false prophets at the same time. That's the second beast. For a long time, I believed that the second beast will come after. There will be an interim in between the 2, but that was wrong. Before him means in the presence of, in King James language. And then eventually there's a 7th trumpet. Now, we know the days have been shortened. We can only speculate how long they've been shortened by. However, the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees, gives us a clue. This time, the sun and moon will go dark. And immediately after the tribulation, the sun will be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. And there will be a sound of a great trumpet, which I haven't highlighted. And there they shall gather, that's the angels, together his elect. That's what the American commercial Christianity calls the rapture. See also Revelation 14 to 20, because that is the same event. Just from a celestial perspective, not from an earthly perspective. The reason why Jerusalem looks like that is because we will know there'll be a great earthquake that happens a year or 2 before. There'll be war, and Jerusalem will not look like a nice place. All right, so where are we now? Okay, so that's when the harvest happens. That's what Revelation 14 calls it, all together, gathering together the elect. That's what Jesus calls it. That's what Paul calls it too, actually, in 2 Thessalonians, and the harvest in Revelation 14. For God has not appointed us unto wrath. The wrath are the 7 bowls, or the vials in the King James. Because an angel says, John says, I heard a great voice of the temple saying to the 7 angels, pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon earth. So the wrath of God are the bowls. And now, for the main event. Weighing in at 777 pounds, the Messiah, the Saviour, the Redeemer, the King of Kings, Jesus. Okay, I'm getting carried away. This is what it will look like from, well, a version of what it will look like from a heavenly perspective. John says that the heaven opens, that's the firmament, which was created in day 2 of creation. The white horse will ride through the opening. That's Jesus Christ, and he will make war. Make war with who? Zechariah. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. That hasn't happened yet. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations. There's a second coming there after the bowls. And the earth shall quake again, earthquake. Again, the third, the sun, moon will be dark. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army. That has not happened yet. And again, we will see, like it says in the text, Joel 2 verse 10, the sun and moon will be dark. So the whole sign in heaven, when Jesus said that, he's talking about the moon and stars and the sun. And that will happen a few times. That's how we know there are different events.